Testing 1, 2. Morning, everybody. Just testing out the sound real quick before we get rolling in 1 minute. How's the sound? Sound okay? 1 minute to go. 1 minute.
This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Live from Peach Time Out in the heart of Times Square. You're listening to Beach Talk Radio with Kim and Ed Ryan.
And a good morning. Oh, sorry. No, I'm okay. Welcome to episode number 144 of Beach Talk Radio. We are broadcasting live from Peach Time Out in Times Square on another beautiful Saturday morning here on the beach. And Kim will be joining me in just a little bit when we have Patrick on to talk about his brand new book called The Crown Jewel of Fort Myers Beach, the Mound House book that he's written. He's going to be joining us remotely, so we'll be talking to him about his book. So stay tuned for that. And we stayed on the beach last night, so we have a little story to tell you about what took place on the beach at 2:30 in the morning. So we'll get to that toward the end of the show. But first, our first two guests, Candace Johnson, and I want to make sure I say this right, Siobhan Chester from the Dr. Piper Foundation. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks so much for having us.
So first off, obviously, tell us what the Dr. Piper Foundation is.
Absolutely. So the Dr. Piper Center in Fort Myers, Florida, supports the elderly and the at-risk youth in our area through a number of programs. One of them is the Foster Grandparent Program, where we take elderly citizens and put them into the Lee County School District classrooms, and they're sort of like classroom grandmas and grandpas. Our second program is our Senior Companion Program, and we also take elderly people and pair them up with other elderly people, and they take them to doctor's appointments and grocery shop, play bridge, just keep them company in their homes. And then lastly is our Faith in Action program, and that's where we transport individuals to doctor's appointments, to dialysis at no cost to them.
Now, are you always that happy like that? Is she always that happy?
Well,
you seem like you're always happy.
I am so happy to live and breathe and be at this beautiful beach, watching all the walkers go by. Candace and I were just saying, look at all these lovely people who
look so happy.
And also eating these delicious pancakes. And I saw somebody with biscuits and gravy that just...
Oh, yeah. Well, you know why they're happy? Because it's free in Florida. I mean, not the food, but you're allowed to be out in the public and and walking around in the fresh air, which is nice. So, what do you guys do at the Dr. Piper Foundation?
Well, right now, we're pretty busy getting ready for Christmas. That's one of our longest standing traditions. Dr. Piper and her mother, Sarah Williams, in 1915, welcomed the children of the community with a Christmas celebration on Christmas morning. It's happened every single year on Christmas morning, and this will be our 106th year. So that's what's keeping us busy right now.
Yep, from 15 girls at that first Christmas celebration to over 600 today. We've got our hands full. We're busy little elves.
Now, what are your job functions? Like, what do you both do there?
I'm the director of development, and Siobhan works for free.
I am a proud member of the Piper board, but I actually am not employed by them. But I am so happy to serve on the board. I've been on the advisory council for 8 years, and I've been on the board for about a year now.
So only people in their 20s are allowed to be on the board? Is that
I'm going to be buying you a plate of biscuits and gravy if you think that I'm 20. Christmas has come early.
Yeah. So specifically, what does that mean? What your job is?
What my job, I do fundraising and community outreach. So I've been going to a lot of different things. The Fort Myers Beach Chamber is amazing. And I've been going to a lot of their events just to really share with people what the Dr. Piper Center is all about. I want to get to a point where I say I work at the Dr. Piper Center and people know exactly what that is and what we're doing in the community.
Right. I have to be honest with you. Until I saw the advertisement for the Christmas party, I'd never heard of it before. So do you run into that a lot?
We do, but that's changing.
Yeah. How are you getting the word out?
Just going to those different things, telling as many people about it as I can.
We've got an awesome website, drpipercenter.org. We love to drive people towards our website so they can learn more about our programs, a little bit more of Dr. Piper's legacy. We're very fortunate to have a center like the Dr. Piper Center in the Fort Myers area. And you're correct. It's a little known secret, but we're trying to change that.
What? Tell us more about the organization, more of the details of what you guys, what the goals are, what are you trying to accomplish, and how people can get involved.
You want to go ahead?
So to get involved right now, obviously we've got the Christmas event on Christmas Day, and on December 19th, we've got an event called Calling All Elves. This is an event where we're going to be doing a lot of the prep work for Christmas Day, putting bicycles together, organizing and sorting toys by age group, getting some stockings put together, snack bags, treat bags. That's a great volunteer opportunity a week from today on the 19th from 9:30 in the morning to 1:30 in the afternoon. Then on Christmas Day, our big day, we're looking for all volunteers from all walks of life, all ages. Because like I said, we're going to be trying to do Christmas for over 600 kids that day. On an ordinary basis, the Piper Center is always looking for senior companion, foster grandparents, or volunteers to help with our Faith in Action program. Our Faith in Action program is the one that drives people to dialysis and to doctor's appointments. So we're always looking for volunteers who are willing to transport people to their various appointments.
So,
and can I just say,
please.
Financial donations are always welcome. If you go to the Piper Center website, drpipercenter.org, you can click on a button. Candace has made it so easy. For $60, you can cover a stipend for a volunteer for 1 week.
Okay. How'd you make it so easy? What'd you come up with there? How did you do that?
Well, we worked with Conrick PR and Marketing to do a total rebrand and redesign our website, and they created something absolutely beautiful for us and really made the website easy to navigate, easy to find the history and pictures. It's a great place to go visit now, and we're so proud of that new site. It actually just launched right in time for all of this.
So you said that you were matching up elderly. Can you tell me more about that? And
so the Senior Companion Program, when a senior in our community has a need, they're homebound and they don't have any family, this Ella Piper Center will find a able-bodied senior who's looking to donate their time and match them up. So it could be an older woman who lives in her home, has someone who comes to her house 3 times a week and just sits and visits with her. They can play cards or they can sit and talk about life. The senior companion might help them cook and prepare a meal. The social isolation for our elderly population is a real problem. So the Piper Center is trying to do everything that they can to combat that through our senior companion program.
If you can answer, how do you find folks that need companionship?
Through the referral service, we have a wonderful social worker who works at the Piper Center, and a lot of the local agencies, we are a proud United Way partner. So like Candace said, a lot of agencies are getting to know us, and when they have a referral for a client, they'll reach out directly.
Now, the Christmas party is for at-risk kids?
Yes.
What does that mean?
That means the kids in the Dunbar community who might otherwise not have a Christmas celebration.
Okay. And so how do you get referrals for,
So we are partnered with the Lee County School District through our foster grandparent program. So a lot of the teachers in the school districts in that area will tell the parents that if they need help on Christmas to show up Christmas morning. We don't require a registration. People just show up and they know that if they show up on Christmas morning, their child will not leave empty-handed.
A lot of kids this year compared to previous years, or is it?
We don't require an RSVP, so we don't know what we're going to be facing Christmas morning, but we're ready. COVID's not going to stop Santa from coming to town.
Where'd you get that hat you were in there?
Walmart last night. I had to get ready for today.
So the donations and stuff, how do you get those, and how they've been coming in? You've been getting enough? Because
Yeah.
a lot obviously this time of year, a lot of organizations are looking for help. How do you stand out to get what you need?
We're very blessed. First of all, our title sponsor, Suncoast Credit Union, right off the bat said, we want to be able to help you guys help kids in the community. And they came in as our title sponsor for the entire event. Gavin's Ace Hardware is our bicycle sponsor. We've got over 42 bikes already at the center that we're going to be putting together on the 19th. And then individual businesses, Candace has an entire list that she can tell you about. Individual businesses in our area have been stepping up. Mitchell Dentistry, Glass Design, and people out there at home can donate as well. All you have to do is go to Amazon and click that donate button.
Right. You have one of those smile things on your website that
We
everyone
do.
has
They can
now?
learn about that on our website. But I realized as we were sitting here today, why don't we just tell people to send something via Amazon? That's how everyone's Christmas shopping,
Yeah,
and
for
you know,
sure.
change the delivery address to ours
Right,
for a couple
right.
of those items,
Right.
and you'll make someone's Christmas special.
So you mentioned that. Were you going to say something that I forgot already? But you pointed out something that Candace was doing, and I've
Candace
already.
has an entire list of sponsors. she
Oh,
can
that's
read.
right. The sponsors. Yeah.
Oh,
Who else
sure
is
thing.
helping out?
Yeah, so sponsors for this event, and we absolutely couldn't do it without them. Like Siobhan mentioned, Suncoast Credit Union is our presenting sponsor. We're beyond grateful for that. Edison National Bank, Right at Home, Eisenhower Senior Services, Amy McGarry Law Office, Midwest One Bank, Home Instead, and then we love Gavin's Ace Hardware.
Where are they located?
They are on
The Metro.
I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Okay. Well, you can Google it and you'll be able
Google
to
it.
find it there.
Yeah.
So they have bicycles. I take it at Gavin's Ace Hardware. Is that where they're
They
buying
order them for us.
Ah, very nice.
And they delivered them. And it was just, they told me their bicycles are coming in pallets. And I was like, oh my goodness. It took a lot of us to unload those into the center, but we're ready to put them together. We actually assembled them. That's one of the things that we're doing on the 19th, next Saturday.
Go ahead.
There's nothing like seeing a child get a bicycle for Christmas.
Right.
It is one of the joys of my life to serve at the Piper Center on Christmas Day and watch these kids light up when they see either a bicycle or a toy that's just for them.
Yes, you're getting a lot of positive comments about
Oh, awesome.
your happy attitudes.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's Christmas.
Yeah, of course.
We are not going to let 2020 stop Christmas.
How long does it take to assemble a bicycle?
That's a good question.
You got me? I got to be honest.
We
I have
didn't-
no idea.
You didn't assemble one yourself and time
No, so
yourself?
the 19th is coming up, and it's so funny. We just had a committee meeting, and we were talking about the tools required to put together a
Oh, yeah.
bicycle. And there was so much debate on a socket wrench versus a something wrench.
Sure.
So
A monkey wrench.
we'll see.
or
We'll see
something.
how this goes on the 19th.
Yeah, you wouldn't want me helping out putting the bicycles together. That wouldn't go well for the kids.
There are some volunteers that come and they just know that that's what they're going to do. And they
Right.
go off in a corner and they just put together those bikes. And
So what are some more of the gifts that the kids are going to be getting this year besides
Yeah,
bikes?
so we're also fortunate. We hosted a pop-up Piper party last night, and lots of people in the community came together and donated toys. We've got lots of Lego sets, lots of sun-powered robots, lots of these things called LOL dolls.
Get
I don't
out.
have any kids.
What is that?
I have no
it's
idea.
like the thing to have.
LOL dolls. You know, I don't know what I was listening to, but I heard something where it might have been in England or Spain where they have these dolls now where you can give them a COVID test.
Oh, gosh.
And then if you buy the wrong doll, that particular doll, like alarms start to go off, and there's a cage that comes around it, like it quarantines the doll.
We don't have any of those.
Who would want? Who would want a doll
Gosh,
like that?
that's
Why would you
awful.
buy a child a doll like that?
I have no
They're
idea.
trying to brainwash them when they're young kids. But I didn't mean to get off the subject. I don't really do that often. Get off the subject during the show. So what were we talking about? Oh,
Yeah,
the toys.
yes,
What are
yes.
some of the other toys that the kids are going to get?
Yeah, so again, if you go to the Amazon website, you'll see an entire Ella Piper wish list, and it's easy to click donate to our toy drive.
So the dolls, the LOL dolls. What else? What else is a
Sporting
popular?
goods. We're
Okay.
getting a lot of those. And
Yeah.
that's fun to see. So kids go outside and play. A lot of Barbies.
Barbie dolls.
And
still
Barbies do
popular?
interesting things now. There's a Barbie
do.
beekeeper. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. Until
Yeah.
we got a beekeeper Barbie.
Very nice.
And an astronaut.
Do they all come with masks now? The Barbie
I
dolls
think
and
the
all that.
beekeeper comes with the.
Okay, you probably don't need a mask if you're keeping bees out, right?
Yeah.
So how big is this organization, the Dr. Piper Foundation? I can't believe you've been doing this this Christmas thing for 106 years. You, like I said, you look like you're in your 20s.
Well,
Far-
thank you.
how
I've been
far-
there at each and every single one.
Nice, very nice. So Dr. Piper's was from Fort Myers?
She was born and raised in Brunswick, Georgia, and she moved to Fort Myers later in her life. She died in 1954, I believe. And she was a philanthropist in her community. She was a foot doctor. She owns a bottling plant. And the bottling plant that she owned is the actual site that the Piper Center sits on today. After she passed, she gifted her land to the city of Fort Myers with one condition, that the land be used to continue to help children and seniors in the area.
You're like a history buff of Dr. Piper. It's amazing.
She's an incredible woman with a tremendous legacy. And so we're just trying to do our part to uphold that legacy.
Is there a way to research? Like, is any books been written about her, or is there a website, or is she in Wikipedia?
So
Or?
that's a great question. So if you go
Thank
to the,
you.
if
That's
you go
two
to,
today.
if you go to drpipercenter.org, there's an entire history on Dr. Piper. And then it has link throughs to the Lee County Black History Society, to Fox 4, and some other people. Oh, the Women's Historical Trail, who've done some more investigative work on Dr. Piper.
Cool.
The Edison and Ford Winter Estates did a presentation on her too.
Oh, no kidding.
And they found an artifact. It was a letter from Mina Edison to Dr. Piper. They knew one another and I guess hosted garden clubs together.
Of course.
Like you do.
Yeah. I have a garden club membership to the garden club.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, Sterile Garden Club. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I just bought an Aero Garden on Black Friday. I'm really excited.
What is an Aero Garden?
An Aero Garden is a hydroponic garden system. You can grow herbs in your house. So rosemary, thyme, dill, oregano. You can grow it in your house on your countertop with no sunlight.
You should have your own show.
Oh, no, because I could never replace this. There's no
Well,
way.
I don't mean replace us. Why would you say that? How dare you? What's up with that? So how big is the organization? Like, how many people you have there, and how long have you guys been there?
How many employees?
There are 11 employees. Some of them
Okay.
are part-time, hundreds and hundreds of volunteers. And it's a small team, but a very dedicated one. And what I love to tell people is that when you give to us, it goes directly to the programs. We don't have any debt. Fort Myers, we have an arrangement with them for that land. We're not
Right.
paying a huge mortgage. We don't have anything like that going on. So really the support goes straight to the people who need it most.
So Mitch says Kelly Road in San Carlos is where Gavin's is.
Thank you. I was
Thank
hoping someone would
you.
put that in the comments.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you guys.
Mitch knows
Support
everything.
them. They're
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
been great.
So do you ever have kids come in and say, yeah, I like the bike, but I need a couple of these things, and can you you got a
Oh,
PS12 for me, or whatever the hell they
No.
are?
We've got some, so I've been serving at the Christmas Day celebration for many, many years now. And the generosity of spirit of the volunteers and the appreciation and joy from the parents is
Yeah.
what stands out to me. We've had parents in tears thanking us, telling us that if it hadn't have been for us, there wouldn't have been a Christmas for their kids. One year we had a teenage young man. He got a bicycle. After it was over, he came back to the door with the bicycle and he said, can I trade this bicycle for myself for one for my little sister?
Oh.
And it's that kind of stuff. We had another teenage gentleman and he got a bicycle and he said, now I can get a part-time job and help my mom.
Very
'Cause
nice.
He had no transport to get to work until he won that bicycle. at the
Great
raffle.
story. I'm sure you got 100 stories like that.
I wouldn't know another way to start my Christmas morning.
So if you have other stories, please share. You have any other ones, or are those the ones you
The
studied?
stories go on and on. Like I said,
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
We had a dad year ago, 2 years, the year that our board president, Danielle Dyer, her brother came down from Ohio to help out, and he was working security at the door, and there was a knock on the door, and a gentleman came up to the door with tears in his eyes, and he said, thank you. This was the only way that my family would have had Christmas this year. And Danielle's brother is ex-military. Thank you for your service to our country. And he had tears in his eyes.
Nice.
Because he's a dad,
Yeah.
and he knows what that's like. So this is the place that you go on Christmas morning to feel good.
So you have the Christmas party for the kids, and you have the elderly. I don't want to screw up the name of the program, but what's the name of that program?
So we have the Senior Companion program.
Senior Companion?
That's the one that puts the elderly people in the home and keeps old people company.
Yeah.
And then we have the Foster Grandparent program, and
Oh.
that's the one that puts elderly people in the classroom to help with the kids.
Do you ever think of just getting a whole crew of elderly people and getting them on one of those beer bus things where they're just pedaling and drinking beer and having a great time?
So
And then,
I would like to do that.
Yeah.
There's one here like that on Fort Myers Beach, right? It's like a boat in the water. It
oh
looks-
yeah, the Tiki
wanna
Tours.
do
They're one of
that.
our sponsors. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we would want to put them in the water in case they
not.
fall out. And then,
We'll rethink that
yeah.
one.
So, do you ever get them together? And I say them like they're some kind of group of aliens, but do you ever get them together to have like a big dance or something or anything like that? Or are you just, are there
The
like,
closest thing might be the volunteer recognition event.
I think you should have some of the elderly people that are kind of, not all there, try and put some of the bikes together. That'd be fun.
That could be fun.
You never know.
Yeah.
Be better than me putting it together. Does this chain belong on the bike or? So what else you want our 9 listeners to know what you do with the organization? Did we miss anything? How many more programs do you have?
If people think these programs are interesting, they should know that we are the local sponsor for the foster grandparents and the senior companions. We're a partner of AmeriCorps Senior. So we, for the 5-county area, we're it for those programs. And
Okay.
so if that is interesting to you, if you want to learn more, if you want to support that, we are the organization that is putting that on here.
Do you take donations year round?
Of course we do.
And that's on the website?
It's on the website. And then you know what? Yesterday, our boss, Nita Luna, executive director, came into the office and found $1,000 had been shoved under the door
In cash?
in cash. So we
Oh.
take that too if you want to shove cash under the door. And
Very
it brought
interesting.
tears to our eyes. And
Doesn't matter where the cash came from or anything.
it's really in response to
ask
Christmas.
questions.
People know. And I
Gotcha.
guess, and I asked her, I was like, has this happened before? And I guess it has.
Nice.
So who
nice.
knows if it's the same person, anonymous donor. Thank you. We were so grateful.
It didn't have any of that liquid spray on it, like, you know what I mean? What sprays
It
out of the
just
money
was
when
the
you get
cold
it,
hard cash.
take it out of the bank. Okay, so is it PayPal? Is it Venmo? Is it all the above to make donations on the website?
There's a secure portal on our website. So they'll see that little, padlock thing. So they know their gift is secure.
Gotcha.
But they can contact me if they have any questions. Candace, CANDACE at drpipercenter.org. I
Why
know
did you do that?
why did my mom do
I
that?
know. Gosh. You try and give her grief a lot?
I just accept it. It makes me special.
Yes, it makes you special, but we have to remember that it's with an A if we're going to send you an email.
Candace.
Yeah, Candace. So Andy says Siobhan would make a great co-host. See, you're already getting plugs
I can't
for a
replace
show.
your beautiful wife. There's
Thank
no
you.
way.
Thank
There's
you.
no way I can replace your beautiful wife.
She's out one
I
of the
see her out there.
bars drinking or something. I don't know what she's doing.
She's on that boat in the water.
Yeah. We've been on that boat. That's a
wanna
lot
do
of
that.
fun. That'd be like one of the things you guys should take your team out on. They have
think that would be
several of
cool,
them. Be like
yeah.
team building thing because they have great captains on the Fort Myers Tiki Tours. So anything else that you want to make sure that we get across to the billions and billions of people out there about
It's-
how awesome the organization is?
Thank
The
you.
Christmas party is on Christmas Day, so that's not hard to forget
Yeah.
or remember.
If
And-
you want to give back this holiday season, we're accepting volunteers on December 19th from 9:30 in the morning till 1:30 in the afternoon. If you want to come out on Christmas Day and have that feel good in your heart, we need all hands on deck on Christmas morning. We're starting at sunup and we'll be there till the last bicycle is given out. And if you can't make it out to either one of those events, please visit our website, drpipercenter.org, and donate.
Awesome. And we want to make sure if people want to go and help out on the 19th or the 25th, that they know where to go.
Yep. You're going to be coming directly to the Piper Center, which is located in Fort Myers on Evans Avenue. And just email Candace and she'll get you on our volunteer list.
How many kids you think you're going to help this year?
We believe that because of the situation of 2020, we're going to help more kids than ever. We're anticipating between 450 and 600.
No kidding. Where do you keep all the toys? I mean,
Oh,
you have a big
gosh.
enough there in your garage?
We have a storage pod. We had one of
No
those
kidding.
delivered,
Yep.
and we are stepping over toys left and right. It's
Very
unbelievable.
nice.
We've gotten quite a few donations, and if people are curious where they can donate toys besides the Dr. Piper Center or Amazon, I have a little list. If you don't mind, if I read it out.
Have it.
Okay.
Don't leave anything on the cutting room floor
Okay,
here.
this is gonna
Candace.
take me a little while.
Sites.
Health Park Care and Rehabilitation Center, Glass Designs, the Naples location and the location up here, Trilogy Home Care, Midwest One Bank, Discovery Village at the Forum, Brookdale Senior Living, 3 different locations. Like I said, Amy McGarry Law Office, Ella Mays Diner at the Luminary Hotel. Stop by there if you don't get a chance. That's a whole different story. They
Oh, yeah.
named that restaurant after our founder.
Is that right?
Yes, they did. Home Instead, Mitchell Dentistry, Around the Clock Fitness. They have 3 locations, and they have one amazing secret Santa who, as long as I keep emptying that box, he fills it every single day.
Nice.
So I'm busy with one of those around the clock fitness locations. Stu's Motorcycles.
Which one is that?
That's the location on Boy Scout Drive.
Okay. Been there.
Gators Crossroads way down in Naples. They were the last stop for a motorcycle ride that we did last week. I'm wearing the shirt if
Very
anyone can
nice.
see it. A group of bikers, don't let them fool you. They are charitable and kind, and they love Christmas.
Awesome.
And they helped us collect toys and donations.
106 years for this event.
Yes.
Very nice. We appreciate you guys coming down. And if there's anything you ever need, just let us know.
Awesome. Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Yeah,
Merry
thank you.
Christmas.
Thank you
Merry
guys.
Christmas.
The Dr. Piper Foundation, and if we'll make sure that all the information is, well, it's on our site now, but we'll make sure it's on our site
Thank
so that
you.
if anyone has any websites or phone numbers they need to get to, we'll pass them along.
Perfect.
All right, you guys have a
Okay,
great day and
thanks.
happy holidays to
You
you
as
all.
well.
All right. Thank you very much for
Thanks.
coming in. And right now, before we bring in Pat, I see you there, Pat. Before we bring in, want to tell everybody about the Fort Myers Tiki Tours real quick, if I don't drop the ad. And then we're going to talk to Pat about his awesome book that he just released about the Mound House. I'm going to do this. Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. All right, here we are. The Fort Myers Tiki Tours, everybody. And the weather is superb for that. Private boat tours for up to 4 people for $119.99, for up to 6 people for $179.99. And that's total per boat, not per person. You bring your own booze, any drink or food you want to bring it on there. They've got the coolers. They have the ice. They supply the U.S. Coast Guard captain. And the phone number to call for reservations, 239-887-0042. That's 239-887-0042. The Fort Myers Tiki Tours. And give them a call because they're awesome people out there. And so we're going to try and make this magic work here, Pat, and pop you up here. And there you are. Hello, Pat. How are you? Just got to switch the
Hey
camera.
there, Ed. How are you? I'm
Give
good.
you the warning that I need to. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
All right. So, Pat, I'm going to have to switch over my audio here. But while I do that, why don't you tell everybody that's watching a little bit about yourself?
I'm sorry. Did I lose you?
Can you hear me okay, Pat?
I'm sorry. I thought I lost you for a second. This is a book about the Mound House and the Calusa Indians that built the mound on which it stands, and the early settlers who built the house. And then it continues and discusses the heroic efforts of the town of Fort Myers Beach to purchase the Mound House less than a year after the town was founded, and how they turned it into a cultural center and a museum. It is a history book in some ways, and also a book about the activities at the Mound House as well.
Gotcha. And I just want to make sure you can hear me okay now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Pat, a little bit about yourself. You are an author. You've written other books?
I have. I was a professor at the University of Georgia for 27 years. And during that time, I wrote a number of college-level textbooks in the areas of computer science, computer programming, management science. So this book is quite a change from what I did when I was in my professional career. But it has been a great deal of fun, and I learned a lot about the Mound House and Fort Myers Beach, and I hope I have managed to tell the story in the book.
Why did you want to write a book about the Mound House? What made you decide that?
Well, I was at a docent meeting in January of 2019, and our director, Allison Geeson, came in and said, you know, I really would like to have a book about the Mound House. And I said, gosh, you know, I can do that. And it took longer than I thought it would, but we did get it out. And I think that Allison is pleased with the result.
Awesome. And if I missed this at the beginning because I couldn't hear, I apologize. But all of the money that is collected from the sales of the book will go toward the Mound House, correct?
It goes to the 501(c) organization, the Friends of the Mound House, which supports the activities of the Mound House. The way that worked was that I licensed the book to the Friends of the Mound House. They then paid to have it published, and then they will receive the proceeds from the sales of the book at the Mound House and in other locations.
How long did it take you to put all the research together, Pat?
Well, like I said, I started in January right after Allison and I agreed that I could do the book. The first thing was that I went to a panel discussion of Bill Grace, Anita Saracita, Betty Simpson, and Seal Spuler, where they talked about the history of the Mound House as they knew it. And from that gave me a start. I then started interviewing various people. I interviewed Bill and Susan Grace. I interviewed Seal Spuler, Betty Simpson. I had a group interview with Anita Saracita and various other people. And it took me, I guess the research was finished last summer. And I went back and forth with Bill Marquardt at the University of Florida and Victor Thompson at the University of Georgia about various aspects of the history of the mound itself. And I talked once, and Bill Grace and I went back and forth and talked about that. Bill Grace, by the way, Ed, is the great-grandson of William Case, who built the Mound House. And he has been very active in historical activities throughout Southwest Florida and Fort Myers. He was very active in saving the Burroughs House in Fort Myers. He was very active in saving the Koreshan Unity campus in Estero, and he's been very active in saving the Mound House.
You put together quite a list of all-stars there that you mentioned. Those names, Anita and Betty and Seal, they could teach you a lot, all of us, a lot of history of Fort Myers Beach. What was it like sitting around the table with the people that know so much about Fort Myers Beach?
It was fantastic. Actually, the roundtable discussion had John Gucciardo as well as the first manager, whose name is slipping my mind right this second, Marcia Siegel George, and Bill Grace and Anita. And we talked, and they were really talking about the early days of the town as well, and how they wrote a grant. Marcia and John wrote a grant for $1 million. They put it together while at the same time they were putting the town together. They wrote the grant and finished it in about 3 months, submitted it, and got it to them by December of '96. So, I mean, it was a fantastic effort to buy the Mound House.
Why do you think, what was the most interesting part about the research for you?
Trying to find out who were the first people who lived on the mound after the Calusa and after the Cuban fishermen, the first people Americans who lived there in 1890. Turns out that the census of 1890 was burned in a warehouse fire. So there are no records as to who was where in that year. And that was the year that I was researching. And that was another area that Bill and I went back and forth on one Sunday afternoon, trying to track down some people.
Where were some of the, where do you search for, where do you look for research on the Mound House? What are the different, other than the brains that you picked there, what are some of the other places that you found some more information?
Well, there are a number of books that have been published about Fort Myers Beach, the early history of Fort Myers Beach, one of which was by a fellow named Lamoureux, who wrote a book that he had come as a part of the Koreshans, and he put in the last deed on the island. He filed a homestead in 1917. So he wrote a book. The Brown and Brown wrote a book. You go back and you look at those, and of course you do a tremendous amount of Google search,
Right.
Or internet search, not necessarily all Google. And I found some interesting things there. One of which was a letter that Bill Grace's grandfather had written to the Koreshan magazine, and I shared that with Bill. Another was that it was thought that a family had lived on the mound in 1890, but I found where the father, the guy who supposedly lived on it, had died in 1889. Things like that you track down and find them in strange places, but they still are part and parcel of the history of the mound.
So, Pat, why do you think it's important for something like the Mound House to be preserved the way it is, and for it to be a teaching place the way it is? How do you answer that question based on everything you've done for the book?
I think that our history is important in many different ways. And this is not just a history, this is also a cultural center dedicated to all of the people who have lived on the mound and also in Fort Myers Beach over time. To me, though I was a business school professor, I always loved history, and being able to write a history book and include as many photographs as I was able to find, thanks to, once again, Bill Grace provided about at least 40% of the photos. So that made it a fun project.
So for anybody that doesn't know, explain who Bill Grace is.
Well, like I said, Bill Grace is the great-grandson of the gentleman who built the house, William Case. He lives here in Fort Myers and has been very active in a number of historical projects, including the Mound House.
So for people that don't know, how do they get the book? You have to get it at the Mound House website, or you get it by going and calling to the Mound House. Explain how they can get their.
It is for sale currently in the Mound House Museum store, which is also the ticket office when you enter the Mound House. It is for sale for $24.95. The Mound House, Allison Eason has come up with a number of bundling opportunities.
Oh, yeah?
You can buy the book and a couple of kayak tours for a special price, or you can buy the book and some other activities for another special price. So it is there. And if anybody wants to go by today between the time this show is over and 12 o'clock, I will be there to autograph any books they buy, as well as Tuesday morning I will be there from 9 until 12:30 to autograph any books people wish to buy at that time.
And the Mound House right now is open Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Do you know the number off the top of your head, Pat? Because I've forgotten what the Mound House number is.
The Mound House number.
But by the way, I want to pop up if you can find that, I do want to pop up the cover of the book again so people can see it on the screen. This is what Pat's book, the cover of the book. It's called The Crown Jewel of Fort Myers Beach, the Mound House. And Pat, it just came out like 2 weeks ago, right? It's still the ink
It arrived on November 14th.
Very nice.
The Mound House number is
Go ahead.
239-765-0865.
Great. And okay, Judy wants to know what the address of the Mound House is. I'm not 100% sure what that is, but
289
type it in the box there. I'm sorry?
It's on Connecticut Street. If you turn left at the Baptist Church and continue to the water's edge and then take a left, that's where it is.
Right. You can't miss it once you get down that way.
Because once you it's the highest point on the island, and it's sitting on a mound that's 14 feet above sea level. And that's an interesting area that I'd like to mention, that this mound was built by the Calusa over 1,000 years of the remains of shellfish, the various conchs, surf clams, etc. As they would eat them, they would then discard the shells and then use the shells to build the mound. The mound right now is 2.66 acres in size, but at one time it is thought to have been 14 acres in size. But
Wow.
it was torn down in the 50s to build the Shell Mound subdivision.
So give us a little history lesson of the Mound House without giving away the book. The early days of the Mound House, how did it get started? I mean, what is the basic history, again, without giving everybody the full details of your book?
Well, that's easy to do.
Go ahead.
Well, as I said, the Calusa Indians were the indigenous people who lived in Southwest Florida, and they built the mound over 1,000 years of discarding their shells and other debris. The Spanish arrived in 1513, were driven off, and the Calusa were pretty well left alone for about 200 years. They were finally died out from disease, and then the next folks to show up were the Cuban fishermen who were coming up from Havana to fish these waters for mullet. The first Americans were the Gilbert family, who actually filed the first homestead deed on Fort Myers Beach on the mound, and about 24 acres in addition. They are actually, it was 170 acres originally. It's now down to 2.66. So in 1906, William Case, Bill Grace's great-grandfather, came down from St. Petersburg, where they were living at that time, and they settled on the mound. They bought the mound in 1909, and they, even though they hadn't owned it in 1906, they put up a one-room kitchen, and they lived on a houseboat. They then, in 1909, they built a Craftsman bungalow, which is part of the house that exists now. They sold the land to a developer named Delisle, who then quickly expanded the house to the size you see now. He left very quickly after the October 1921 hurricane, and the Case family had to take the land back over. The house pretty much stayed empty until 1947, when a scientist by the name of Robert James bought the house and was going to use the property to research local vegetation and animal life for scientific purposes, to make various lacquer out of it or whatever. He died in 1950, and the Longs bought the house. Mr. Long tore down, like I say, about 11 acres of the mound to build the subdivision. Mrs. Long died. He died in 1963. Mrs. Long died in 1994. And then the town bought the property in 2000. And they then started restoring the house to the 1921 form, which you see now. So that's a brief history of the Mound House.
And Dave, thanks. That's Kim's dad there.
Did too much or too little?
Yeah. Putting up the address for the Mound House. It's 451 Connecticut Street. And
289 Connecticut Street.
And thank you for doing that.
Connecticut Street.
So, Pat, what of all your research, what did you find out? Oh, like a big surprise. Like I wasn't expected to find that out, or I wasn't expecting that. Was there anything that came up that really surprised you?
I would say that finding out that some of the material I had read about the first settlers on the mound was incorrect.
Ah,
Yeah,
really?
in a couple of books, or in a couple of books, it was listed as it is incorrect. So that was interesting to trace that down. And
how many pages? Lots of pictures.
okay, the book is 64 pages long. It has about 18,000 words and about 104 pictures and diagrams. So it is a beautiful coffee table book. I don't take credit for the beauty at all. That was done by a company called On Point Productions out of Kansas City, who took my ideas and my words and the pictures I had and managed to create a really nice looking book. It was a surprise to all of us how good it looked when it came out.
All right, and the cost of the book, Pat?
$24.95.
$24.95, and it goes to the 501c for the Mound House, and we hope everybody grabs a copy. It's certainly a coffee book table for sure, right, Pat?
Yeah, that would be a good idea, a good Christmas present.
Yeah.
For anybody who's interested in Fort Myers Beach.
All right,
because
Pat.
the history of the Mound House is also a history of Fort Myers Beach, and especially the town of Fort Myers Beach and our early council that saved it. It's interesting that Ray Murphy, who is mayor now, was on that original council that made the decision to buy the Mound House, as was Saracita.
Great. Anything we missed before we let you go?
No, like I said, I'll be there today. If anybody wants to come by and buy a book, I'll be glad to autograph it. And if they come by Tuesday morning, I'll be there then. Let me make a comment about the cover. I really was blown away by the cover that the company put together. If you'll notice, there's a big picture of the house as it is now, but across the bottom are pictures of the house in its various creations. Number one, you're looking in the bottom left-hand corner, you're looking at the house as the case first built it in 1906. It was just a kitchen and a social area. Then in the middle bottom picture, you have a picture of the Craftsman bungalow that the case is built with the first car on Fort Myers Beach in front of it. And then bottom right is the house that Delisle built, added on to the bungalow to create the house you see now. And behind all of that is the original land claim that Gilbert signed up for in 1893. So there's a lot of material right there on the cover of the book about the history of the house.
Nice. Very nice. Well, hopefully you'll have a nice big crowd today while you're out signing autographs, Pat. We really appreciate your time, and congratulations on the book. It's really awesome.
Thank you for having me on.
All right. Have a great weekend and happy holidays, Pat.
Okay. Same to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Make sure you pick up the book when you can. The Mound House, the crown jewel of Fort Myers Beach. And joining us now from his home studio is our co-host from last night. I didn't mean to wake you out of bed.
Actually, I was working on my truck, so it worked out. It worked out well.
You're taking the engine apart like you were explaining last night?
I'm doing brakes today, but it's
nice.
a big truck, so it's a pain in the ass.
So I wanted to bring you on and thank you for co-hosting last night. I appreciate you coming on and filling in for Kim last night.
No problem.
We had a little incident today that I'll explain at a future date. That's the reason that she's not here. But I did want to make sure that we mentioned, and I know you're well aware of this, that the Christmas Tree Festival and Auction is taking place today from 1 o'clock until 8 o'clock. And that includes the vendor market where Andy is going to be. Andy was on the show last night. She's going to be showing off her jewelry. And that takes place from 1 to 4. From 3 to 8 is the Christmas tree and bake sale, where you can pick up homemade baked goods that are perfect for the holiday guests. And I'm sure you're going to be down there getting boxes and boxes of cookies, Greg, because
buying Christmas trees or something, right?
Yeah.
There's some really cool trees down there.
17 Christmas trees. And I think I saw a picture this morning of the one that's filled with wine.
Oh, that's a good one. That'd be
that was
my
a good one from last year, I think, too. The one that that got the most donations. And of course, Dan's Christmas tree has all kinds of fishing gear on it. Yeah, so there's 17 in total. And then later on in the evening is going to be the chili contest. And again, you want to make sure that Cheater Reed from SOB does not win the chili contest this year, because if he's standing in the primo spot again, it's because he's paid somebody off, or he's figured out a way to get that first spot like he has the last 2 years. And I'm sure he's going to have his award-winning white chicken chili. I was at his house once, Greg, because he was trying to lose a little weight for his wedding, and he had, I don't know, they must have gave him like some kind of prize or something that he was sure to show off, because our hot dog chili came in last place. He has it displayed in the garage because his wife won't let him have it in the house.
I didn't say it last night, but when I grew up, my mom put hot dogs in our chili too.
Really?
But yes, absolutely. But I didn't mention that last night, but it's actually true.
Yeah. So the real reason I brought you on was because while we were doing the show yesterday, you got a wicked blow delivered to you by the Supreme Court. And I want to make sure you have a chance to figure out how that's going to affect your life and the lives of all the crazies on that side, like yourself.
Well, we're and the informed on this side, not the crazies, the informed.
Dad is listening right now too, and he's laughing. He's laughing a belly laugh.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, but there are other avenues. But I drank heavily last night. Let's just put it that way.
It's over, right? So. Are you finally going to admit that it's over?
No,
that Biden is going to be the president.
I'm a fighter to the end. I don't give up. Right? That's tenacious. That's a good leadership quality. So I'm never going to say it's over till January 20th, when if they inaugurate Joe Biden. So never say never. There's still avenues. If I was a bet man, I'm not going to put a whole lot of money on it. Let's put it that way. But I am going to keep the faith. I have to. It just I mean, you got to think of what's come on, a Joe Biden presidency. You got to just go. Slap yourself in the head. It's going to be horrible.
Well, the other thing I want to touch on real quick is how it's getting crazy in New York and California. They just Cuomo, who I guess Biden is considering for attorney general, just closed all the restaurants to indoor seating in New York. And what are you going to do? You're going to sit outside in your parka and try and have dinner somewhere in New York?
And again, it's all this non-common sense crap, right? So, Cuomo, who won an Emmy, right? But yeah, that's what we would need to be doing with government officials. But there's no data that suggests that going to a bar, going to a restaurant is where COVID spreads, right? But that's just the easiest thing to do. And there are bar owners that are standing up. There's that guy in Staten Island who said, hey, I'm not closing my bar. They arrested him. He came back. There were hundreds and hundreds of people outside in support of him. I think they arrested him again. They took away his liquor license. There's just, it's becoming Gestapo-ish, and it's a shame. And luckily, like in California, I travel to California quite often, but, not now, but, Gavin Newsom shut down California, but the Orange County Sheriff said, we're not going to enforce that. The police are not here to enforce social distancing and mask garbage and how many people you have in your damn home. We're here to enforce the law. So don't call us for that crap, right? We're not going to enforce it. And that's what I think really needs to happen. We need more patriot law enforcement sheriffs to say, all right, enough is enough. You guys had your power trip. Sit back and let the big boys play now.
I heard, I don't know if it's true. I heard somebody talking about this morning that they closed the beaches in Miami. Did you hear that or see that?
I didn't hear. Didn't hear they closed the beaches, but they did put in a curfew. So at midnight,
maybe that's what it was.
Midnight, because the COVID can't get you. They can get you at 11:59, but not at midnight.
Right. That's when they decided. Somebody, I don't know who it was. They said the liquor stores have to close at 9:30 because obviously after 9:30 is when the germs really start to foment or something like that.
I can't go and just
figure that out. But back to California.
It's all that kind of crap that just, it doesn't make sense, right? So people just are not using their goddamn brains, right? It's just like, again, and you know how I feel about the mask, but come on. I mean, even if you think the mask works, the mandate of what they want you to do doesn't pass the sniff test. Okay, put it on till you sit down, take it off. Give me a break. It just doesn't make any comment. It doesn't. We'll do 100 days. That's going to make a goddamn difference.
Because on 101, the 101st day, it's all going to go away.
People just need to use common sense. I mean, the virus is out there. It's real. Wash your hands. Like I said before, eat some chicken soup if you're not feeling good. Sneeze and you cover your mouth and you cough and sneeze. This is all common sense stuff, right? But the media has people just scared out of their gourd. And when people are scared, people don't make rash decisions. So that, they'll gladly say, lock us down and all the other crap you see online, which is just, it's asinine. It's asinine.
Lastly on that, the California governor, everybody in California has to follow the rules until the elected officials go to the French laundry and have something to eat, which is the most expensive restaurant in the world, and he doesn't have to wear a mask.
A side of peas and carrots there costs $100. That's
Get 'em
not.
from?
It doesn't.
Where do you
And
get
again,
$100 peas and carrots?
a beer costs $100.
Just
so
because.
it is just why not? Because you can say you go there, right? So I think Gavin Newsom's meal costs $15,000. When's the last time you dropped $15K in a meal, Ed?
Last night here in the square.
No. You'd be the most popular guy out there, right?
I have to tell you a story. We stayed on the beach last night for the first time in a while because we did a show last night at La Ola, and then we hung out for a little while at Margaritas and stopped here for a drink and just to spread around some of the Benjamins. And when I first got here in the afternoon, I had to come at 2:00 because I interviewed Jesse Lavender about the beach renourishment and about the bathroom renovations, and I had to be set up in the room at 2:00. And so I get there at 2:00, and the room is above the beach bar, and the beach
Great place.
bar, it's right on the sand. It's a great spot to be in the middle of the beach behind the Sea Gypsy. And I got there, and there was a band playing at 2:00, and the place was full. And I texted Kim, and I said, it's not going to be quiet tonight, and I like to go to bed at 8:00. And so I let her know in advance that it's not going to be quiet because you expect that there's going to be music at least until midnight. I mean, who knows what time the bars close. So when we finally left Times Square, I know she'd be telling me to cut the story short by now because that's what she does. So we get back.
She's not here.
We get back to the room at 9:00, and it's totally silent. The bar's closed. The umbrellas are down. There's no music playing. It's totally silent. So I was like, wow, this is perfect. Go to sleep at 9:30, 10:00, and then at 2:30 in the morning, 2 houses down, these 2 vehicles decide that they're going to play that music where only what you hear is the drum going, in and out of the car, both cars at the same time from 2:30 to 3:00. Just, and they're smoking whatever they're smoking, which you can smell from where we were. And I was just dumbfounded. I do have video of that. And then finally, the sheriff's department showed up at 3:00. Yeah. I wasn't going to call the sheriff's department because I'm sure they have better things to do. But there's got to be. I mean, now I understand why there's a noise ordinance because these 3-4 guys had they didn't care in the least. There's people that live there. There's people that live in that spot.
Well, and so I'm a full-time resident, and there's a lot of vacation rentals around us, and there are people here that come and party, and sometimes they're up late, but it's sometimes it's okay. They're not super loud, but they're out there having a good time. But when they purposely blast music like that, if you just have a little bit of, I don't mind anybody staying up when they're on vacation out here partying, having a good time, laughing, giggling, whatever. But if you're going to turn up the music, right, just to annoy people and just be loud for the sake, I love loud music too. But when it gets to be a little bit late, you got to have a little consideration for your neighbors.
The thing. They weren't vacationers, and here's how I know why. When the sheriff showed up, there were 2 of the SUV sheriff vehicles. They came in different directions. One wound up leaving right away. The sheriff gets out of the car with his flashlight, and he knows the guy's name. Right off the bat, he knew the guy's name, and he said, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And there was no confrontation, and that's what I wanted. That's really the point I wanted to make. The sheriff's deputy, after the other guy, he must have got a call or something because he raced out of there. And I'm not saying he went to the Lani Kai. I'm just saying he raced out of there. But he stood there, and he must have just shot the breeze with them for 10 or 15 minutes. And then they left, and that was the end of it. And it was him all by himself. And I was like, wow, that guy's he's gonna take care of this all by himself. Because the minute you roll up on somebody that's doing something like that, you think there's going to be a confrontation, but there wasn't. He knew one of the guys, and it was almost like, oh, here it's you.
Yeah,
like he's been in trouble before. I'm not.
And it's not an easy time to be a police officer, right? I mean, at least here on the beach, people are a little more laid back, I would think. But it's not an easy time to be a police officer across the United States, right? Those guys just have a very unappreciative job right now. And I think, I've talked to a number of sheriffs on the beach. I've been pulled over a few times, lights missing or something. They're always very nice and very respectable. And I think that goes both ways. If you're going to be a dick to the cop, well, then, you're going to get treated likewise, and as you should.
You guys getting out on the water today?
No, we're getting ready to leave to go up north, so we're working on the
wait. I need you to tell that story that you told Kim last night that she couldn't even believe about the pig.
So yes, I get an organic pig. My mother-in-law buys a piglet every year. Several actually, and we buy one, and it's inexpensive. So it's $100. We buy the piglet, and she feeds it. So my mother-in-law, even though she's in her 70s, she's very, very active. She's an organic gardener, but she feeds the pigs, acorns and all the organic food that they can eat, fattens them up, and then at the end of the year, they slaughter them, and we have them processed. So it's about $250 to have them processed. And then we drive up to northern Michigan and we pick up our organic pig, and we have enough pork to last us through the winter. And it's good. I mean, I have a smoker. I smoke the pork shoulders. I told her, she may not want to eat a little piglet, but if she smells some of that pork shoulder I'm smoking, I'm telling you, there's no way she's going to be able to say no to eating that. And I can see the look in her horror in her eyes, and she's like, "It's a piglet! Oh my god!" I'm like, "No,
what is it? Cut it into what? Bacon and pork chops and ham?
They give you a sheet and you just fill out what you want. I want the jowl meat. My wife gets all, my wife's a great cook. And so she gets all the lard. We get everything out of the pig, almost nose to tail. Everything, we use every part of the animal, which is nice. So, and she makes whatever she makes with all that stuff. So, and it's all good. I don't complain. But we get, pork chops, bacon, jowls, like I said, butts, shoulders, ribs.
Nina saying, "Oh no," because I'm sure all the ladies are. I shouldn't say that. That sounds sexist, but
come on,
piglet.
But it's only a pig had a good life. I mean, the pig is it's bought as a piglet. It's cared after. It eats all the best food. Again, my mother-in-law's feeding the pigs, and she does pigs and turkeys. So we get a couple turkeys and chickens too. But you can't beat it, and where the food comes from, right? So you're eating this nice organic food, so it's good for you. And come on, bacon tastes good.
Everything but the squeal. All right, Greg. Thanks a lot for sitting in. I appreciate it.
Oh,
man.
no problem.
You're always right there, and it's great to have you sit in and help us out all the time that you have. Thanks a lot.
It's good times, brother. All right,
Merry Greg.
Christmas.
Thanks very much, and we appreciate Greg sitting in on the show and filling in, and we'll let you guys know why today, later on when we can, or whatever the hell's going on. But before we punch out of here, I want to make sure you all know two things: that you need islandoils.com. You need to get on that website, Island Oils LLC, or don'titchit.com, and get your bug spray, because it's getting to that time of the year where the weather's a little bit chilly and the bugs are coming out because they want to land on your nice warm body, and you want them off. So you want the beautifully smelling Island Oils, because it's 100% oil and 100% works. There's no water added. Oil and water don't mix. Get on don'titchit.com or islandoilsllc.com right now. It's made here, folks. It's local people, and we like to support our local people. So get on there and get your bug spray. Don't buy that cheap crap from the store that is not going to work, and it's going to smell like, some nasty Arm & Hammer baking soda that you put on your body. This stuff smells like perfume. As a matter of fact, I think the waitresses wear it here as perfume. That's how lovely they smell. It's Island Oils LLC or don'titchit.com, and pick up some today. They've been great sponsors for us, and we appreciate it very much. And once again, I want to make sure you all get down to the Women's Club today for the big day. They have everything socially distanced. We saw the pictures where they're all in different pods where you can go and check out the vendor market, and then the Christmas trees. They have it where a certain number of people walk in to bid on the trees, and they have 17 trees this year. And as you know, all the money raised goes to charities here on the beach. And cocktails are available, I've just been told. So there you go, for no other reason than to go down there and enjoy a cocktail. And I know Tom Torgerson is a car parker. That's his duty. Every year I see him parking cars out at the Women's Club. And, if you want to meet somebody famous, you have your car parked by Tom Torgerson. And that's going to take place starting at 1:00 today with the vendor market. The Christmas treat and bake sale is taking place also at 3:00. Everything goes until 8:00. And 5:30 to 8 is the chili tasting contest. And I'm begging you all to vote for anybody but Reed. Anybody but Reed. Somebody else needs to get the green jacket this year, and it shouldn't be Reed. So head on down to the Women's Club and enjoy it's the third annual Christmas Tree Festival and Auction. And by the way, you can vote online if you don't want to leave your house. They do have a way to vote online. And in our story on Fort Myers on beachtalkradionews.com is the link if you want to go on and take a look at the trees. It's going to be a lovely day on the beach here, everybody, and we appreciate you tuning in today and tonight, and we will be back next week. Don't forget the newsletter every Tuesday and Friday, and you can sign up for that by going to beachtalkradionews.com. A box will come up, and all you need to do is put in your email. Bye-bye.